Today I'm joined with Rob,
Morning.
Bill, Kinga, Justina, who's thinking about becoming an agent, and Lisa, and we've got Debbie, who just moved to St. Petersburg, and we're going to show her on the say hello, and alrighty, so she's going to be joining on ultimately. So today we're going to talk about doing a listing presentation and kind of what you need to do in advance of that. We're going to talk a little bit about it, and then I'm actually going to, have the group be the home seller, and I'm going to be the agent, and I'm going to take them through the listing presentation that I do, a little role playing, and we'll hopefully all learn a little bit. So the first thing when you're doing a listing presentation is to do your homework before you go. Run the comps, try to get an idea, look on Zillow, what the estimate is, try to get an idea as to, kind of what you think that house is going to be worth, because that, at the end of the day, will be the key conversation with the home seller. One of the most, what do you think their house is worth? So you want to be prepared kind of with that when you get there. And then you're going to go, and but before you go, you're going to print out your listing agreement, your seller's disclosure, the homeowners association, the homeowners addendum, anything, all your paperwork. So just in case it all goes swimmingly and they say, hey, I want to sign up now, you're not screaming, oh, I didn't bring the paperwork with me. Usually they don't, but sometimes you never know. I've had them sign up, because they love me right on the spot, and I got the listing right then and there. So then you're going to knock on the door, and they're going to greet you, and then they're going to take you and give you the tour. That's usually what happens. They're going to kind of show you their house. They're going to say, oh, look how big my closets are, and they're going to really be trying to sell you on, making you think their house is worth more because they love their house, and that's typically kind of how it goes. But you're going to be looking at what, Lisa? The roof. The AC,
Well, I am. That's a trick question. I'm looking at the whole house.
You're going to be looking at the whole house, but they're going to definitely show you the good, but you're going to want to look, for termites, right? You're the termites and all that type of stuff. So you're going to kind of look and see, what defects you might be able to spot, and then in your head, it's kind of rolling around, now what that house is actually worth, because at the end you're going to have that discussion with them. So, and then the next step, usually you're going to sit down, at the kitchen table or the living room, and you're going to take them through what you're going to do. So let me kind of jump into, kind of the listing presentation that I have, and we can kind of walk through that. So I have my iPad or my laptop with me, and I'm ready to go. So then basically, usually what I do is I want to get a sense as to what's happening in that particular area. So here's one we did. It's over in Valrico. The house, when we we thought 200 to 250. So basically there, when we did this 6 weeks ago or so, there were 46 houses for sale. There are 36 under agreement, and there's 147 homes that have sold in the last 6 months. So what this is telling you, and what you'll tell the homeowner, is, hey, if we price this right, it should sell within 30 days because everything is selling. There's no inventory. So basically, the market is considered neutral. No, it doesn't favor the buyer or the seller when there's 6 months worth of inventory. So here, there's 30 sales a month, roughly, 25 sales a month. There's less than 2 months worth of inventory, so there's nothing to buy. So basically, again, the takeaway is, if you price it right, it should sell fairly quickly. This house, actually, it sold in 2 weeks. So now, if you would have done this during like the financial crisis or shortly thereafter, there would have been 147 houses for sale and only 46 sales in the last 6 months, because then nothing was selling. So, it just gives you an idea as to kind of what's going on in that particular zip code area and at that price point. So then we're going to take them through, okay, the benefits of working, with Dalton Wade or you as the agent. We're going to recommend what the home should be listed at, but at the end of the day, it's up to, the homeowner to decide what they want to list the house at, and hopefully they're reasonable, and, you take the listing. If they're way off, you know, you might decide, hey, this doesn't seem like something that's going to work. You know, we're going to professionally photograph the home. The photography is the #1 thing. It's very, very important. You know, we've all seen bad listings where the people have used their camera phone, they've taken them at night, they've got messed up exposures, and the listing doesn't look so great on the internet. So that's definitely not happening with any of the Dalton Wade agents, because we're going to use a professional photographer. They're going to have a wide angle lens. They've got HDB software to sort of enhance the photos. We're going to make some staging suggestions. We're going to put a for sale sign up there. We can do some email marketing to the buyer's agents. We're able to see through the MLS, you know, who has their clients set up through, you know, My Matrix, and we can send them, you know, an email, new listing, open house. We're going to do a set schedule of open houses. Sellers love, you know, for agents to do open houses, and we love them because of, you know, it's great, it's possible of selling the house, but it also is a great way to meet, you know, to meet buyers, and so it serves a couple of purposes. We'll talk a little bit more, you know, later on. We're going to do some social media around your, you know, around your listing. When it's a new listing, we're going to promote it. You know, we're going to put the, you know, the picture. Maybe they got a beautiful kitchen. You know, we're going to maybe spend $25. You don't have to spend a lot, and you can target it, you know, right into that area. Maybe you use a filter of renters, first-time home buyers. Facebook's got some great tools to really zero in. You don't have to spend a lot, and then you hook that ad into your listing on Boomtown. It then forces them, if they want to see all the pictures, it forces them to register, and lo and behold, you've got a buyer lead. And then again, same thing with an open house. You want to promote that open house through, you know, maybe a sponsored ad. Again, you don't have to spend, you know, a lot of money, $20, $25, but again, you might bring in a couple leads for yourself. You're going to tell them you're going to coordinate all the showings. You know, you're going to follow up on all the showings. And then you're going to give them, you know, the feedback. So again, you know, my findings, I kind of use a personalized, like a lot of times everybody gets those requests through showing time. Nobody really fills them out. I mean, you get, you know, you don't get too much feedback. I have a little email I send out to them, and, you know, I get a little bit higher response. But, you know, so when you're going to share that, tell them you're going to share that, you know, with them. And really what you're focused on with the feedback is what did the agent think of the price? You know, they're out there that day showing, you know, 5 or 6 homes, your listing being one of them. You know, how did you stack up? You know, and everything you got to kind of take with a grain of salt. Sometimes they'll tell you, oh, the house was overpriced, and then 10 minutes later, you know, an offer comes in. So, but again, if you're not getting any offers and you're hearing it's overpriced, you know, usually in this market it means it's not priced correctly. And you're going to share that. You're going to negotiate. You're going to negotiate all offers, and you're going to really, you know, negotiate, you know, to get them the most amount of money. You're going to tell them you're a great listener, right? Okay. And what does that mean? It means that, you know, who is that buyer? Okay. So just a quick, you know, if the buyer has sold their house, for instance, right? Their house is under agreement, and now they've put an offer in on your house. Okay, those, from experience, those people you can push harder because they're going to be homeless. So they've identified your house as the house they want, right? So they will pay typically more than somebody who is leasing and their lease isn't up to the end of the year. There's no real immediacy. They might like that, but if they're not getting the right price. You know, they're not going to walk. They're not going to purchase it. So the takeaway is you're going to push them as hard as possible to get the highest price, and then if that works for the seller, great. If not, then you'll go on and find somebody else. You're going to sometimes things come up through the home inspection. You're going to tell them that there will be a home inspection, and sometimes buyers use that as a tactic to, you know, reduce the price. So the rule kind of there, the general way to be thinking about it is if they could see it, there's no discussion about it. Okay, the air conditioning is old. Okay, they should have seen that. You don't want to hear about that at the inspection. Now, if they find, you know, there's mold under the crawl space or what have you, you know, hopefully your client's going to be open to sort of, you know, fixing things like that. You're going to review the settlement statement with them, make sure they understand all the charges, and then you're close. So you're taking them from beginning to end. And then you're going to talk a little bit about your marketing efforts. So, Phil, you know, his belief, everything happens online. It's all digital right now. There's no, you know, really any need for any print advertising. You know, agents still do print, not so much to sell the house, but to sort of promote themselves so they get more listings, right? But everybody, you know, 98% of buyers are online, so it's important that you're able to explain to your potential seller like how that all works. So basically you're going to put the listing into the MLS, so all the agents and brokers are going to be able to see it. And then from there it's going to go out to basically 2 other spots. It's going to go out to all the other brokerage firms' websites. So it's going to be on Century 21 site, it's going to be on Caldwell Banker's website, and it's going to be on, you know, hundreds of agent sites as well. Now on those sites, only your name and your company name are going to appear, and they're going to be in very small print because, you know, Caldwell Banker wants that person on their website to contact a Caldwell Banker agent to be the buyer's agent, right? So there's no direct link, you know, back to you. Now on things like Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes.com, if you've set them up correctly, you know, again, the listing will be there, and then your information, your contact information, you know, is going to appear, and a potential buyer, you know, can get, you know, in touch with you directly. And again, why that's important is that, you know, you potentially have the opportunity for a direct sale, you know, where there's no buyer agent involved. You got both sides. Or, you know, for me, and we talked about this before, you know, my conversion rate on taking somebody who's contacted me on one of my listings and I've shown them that listing is 1 out of 4. What do I mean? Very, very few people that contact you end up buying that house. But it's a great opportunity. You've met them one-on-one, you've got them kind of in that house alone, and then once you know they're not interested in the house, you kind of flip to, okay, you need me as your buyer's agent. Why are you contacting the listing agent? Doesn't cost you anything. All the listing agent wants to do is, you know, shove that house down your throat so they make double the commission. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you, you know, we all know the pitch. So basically, you know, we're using the listing to generate some buyer leads. But the takeaway is it's on every single website. It's out there, you know, blanketing, you know, the internet. We talked a little bit about social media. You're going to tell them again, you know, that you're going to do a post when you, you know, when you launch the listing. You may do what we're doing here, Facebook Live. You may go to the house, right when you've launched it on MLS, and, you know, do sort of a virtual, you know, open house right then and then, or a tour. We did a training on, you know, using Facebook Live to sort of, you know, enhance your listings, and, you know, you might tell them you're going to do this and include it in your presentation. Here, we've told them we're going to do an open house every single weekend for 6 weekends in a row. Again, they love that, and, you know, it's got the dual purpose of, you know, them liking it, plus, you know, for us, the opportunity to meet some buyers, right? So, you know, listings generate buyers, so we're going to be aggressive, you know, on our open houses. Then I, you know, talk about, you know, what it costs. Here we were telling you it's 5%, and that was 3% for the buyer's agent. We were taking 2% on the listing side, and then we go into the summary. You know, we're going to professionally photograph your home. It's going to look great on the internet. You know, we've got an aggressive internet marketing campaign, strong social media, open houses, great follow-up, great negotiator, and, you know, then you're going to kind of move into the next step. Is they're going to say, well, what do you think my house is worth? That's it. At the end of the day, the sellers typically focus on 2 things: what you're going to charge them, right, and then what do you think their house is worth. And then you're going to tell them, you know, I think it's worth X, and you're going to kind of take them through how you came up with that, you know, based on the comps. Now, 99% of the time, they already have a number in mind, and that's probably the number you're going to end up listing it at. So even though you might think, you know, it's worth, you know, $430, they want to go out at $450. So, you know, when it's close like that, that's fine. You know, we'll see what happens. Again, you kind of go back to, you know, everything selling. You know, if the market, you know, it's not what we think, you think, it's what the market thinks. That's really what your house ultimately is worth. And then you're good to go, and, you know, you've got a listing. But again, if they come, you're at 4:30 and they're at 5:30, that's a very big difference. And then sometimes that may not be a listing you want to actually take, because what happens is when the listing is priced too high, it kind of mucks up all your other efforts. So like nobody comes to the open houses, you don't get any direct buyer contacts, your social media doesn't work so well. I've seen it over and over. So when the further the house is priced from what it should be, the less activity you get. And conversely, sometimes if you have a house that's underpriced, you may get a whole ton of people. So the market tells you, again, and it goes back to the buyers, they're all online. They're all they take their search very seriously. They're on top of it. Any new listing, they're right on it, and they're there. If it looks like it's going to work for them, they come, or they contact their agent, and they come with them. So it's a little bit on kind of, again, you can modify this as you see fit, but hopefully that was helpful. And any questions?
Nope.
Any questions in Facebook land?
Let's see. We have Will Wiley and Clint Murdoch.
What do they say?
Nothing.
Well, they must not have any questions. Well, hey, we're going to sign off. If you do have any questions, just email me or call me, and I'm glad to help you. Thanks for tuning in.